here this week and home next week. I just wanted to offer this practice, a little bit of therapeutic yoga, a little bit of yin. If you're here, you can just like the video, you can comment, which I will look at afterwards. I also have my phone here so I can take a peek if I need to. So today's class, we are going to be working on baby back bends, and this is more of a yin practice. So you're going to just need to be on your yoga mat. I have a blanket I'm sitting on. I have my cup of tea, which says namaste in bed, which many of us maybe feel like right now. And I also have one of these little bender balls that I've deflated. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it, but I may just show you a few things that are great with these little balls. It's a little Pilates ball. And I also have a small bolster, which I actually just picked up at Winners. And it's okay for putting behind the spine and behind the neck. And that's about it. I have my water. So we're going to get started. For anyone who is showing up late, that's fine. You can always watch this video later. So let's start by sitting up nice and tall and sitting on my blanket underneath my sit bones. I'm going to close my eyes and just come to my natural breath, placing right hand on belly, left hand on my heart chakra, the Anahata chakra. And just breathing your natural breath. So nice thing about practicing at home. You don't have to worry about where you are. You're in your safe space. And just lengthening the inhales and the exhales. And let's take this moment to really root down through the sits bones. See if you can maybe wiggle from side to side, backwards and forwards. And lengthen through the spine, lengthen through the tips of the ears, crown of the head. Imagine your chin is resting just on a shelf. And let's take a deep inhale through the nose, filling up the lungs all the way down to the belly. And as you exhale, just allowing everything to soften back into the body. As you inhale, belly rises, ribs expand, heart floats upon this beautiful breath. And as you exhale, everything softens back down into the body. So with this yin practice this morning, it's about taking care of yourself, listening to your body. Take your right hand over top of left into this self-care mudra. Breathing in here. And just coming to your own Sankappa, your practice. A nice way to bring in your intention is just to honor yourself. I'm practicing self-care. I'm practicing self-love. So just taking that right into the heart space. Deep inhale through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. So today we will be working through our little mini back bends. The nice thing about back bends is you just stay here breathing gently is a lot of times we don't really work with the practice of back bends, and especially not very actively. And our spine is meant to move backwards and forwards. And we find that if we don't include both the movement backwards and forwards, we lose that natural curve in the spine, in the lower lumbar of the spine. So today we will do really gentle back bends. This allows your body to increase the flexibility, and I do want you to, however, be careful that you're not feeling any sharp pains, any pinching, any kind of stabbing or electric pain. If that's the case, please come out of the pose. You will, however, feel a normal and healthy compression, just a gentle compression of the spine. So maybe a dull ache as they gently press together. That's completely natural and healthy. So watch for that. No stabbing, no electric pain, and just coming mindfully out if you do have that happen to you. We will work on lengthening, so you'll even notice I talked about lengthening through the spine. If I just sit kind of traditionally how I would normally sit, I'm going to lengthen the spine before I come in to those back poses. And also noting if you can engage your pelvic floor. So when we engage the pelvic floor, we allow the tailbone to hug in towards the body. And that's a nice, safe place for our tailbone. So let's explore into this baby back bends. We will first start with some seated cat-cows. So seated cat-cows, I'm bringing my hands down on top of my knees. I'm sitting up nice and tall. Again, lifting through those ears, tips of ears. And I'm going to begin by exhaling out all the breath. So exhaling. And I'm allowing those shoulders to round forward, chin to heart. And as I inhale, I'm opening up, gazing towards the sky, opening through the collarbones. Exhaling and rounding, drawing chin towards heart, just letting that belly come into more of a C shape. And inhaling, gazing up towards the sky. Good, one more time. And coming into that arch. So if I was to turn sideways, you're going to notice that you can come into any kind, you can come into the full expression and really hang on to the knees. And then come up and really arch into the back, feeling that nice arch into the lower lumbar. Or it can be really subtle. So if you have any kind of back issues, it can be as subtle as dropping chin towards heart, a little rounding through the shoulders, and then a little gentle lifting. So even just by bringing my gaze up towards the sky, not cranking my head back, I'm still getting that nice, gentle movement into the lumbar. So again, that's full expression. And then we can come to just a really gentle. And I'm tucking that belly button towards spine. So you're going to come on to your hands and knees. I've got a blanket under my knees. I'm going to stack my knees underneath my hips. Walk those palms out. Place my forehead down on the mat. And I'm going to keep the palms pressing into the mat here. So I'm widening the fingers. Forehead is resting. And I'm going to also just rest the elbows. So I'm pressing down into the elbows, taking a little bit of weight off of my neck. And I'm breathing in here, just nice gentle breaths. You are going to feel the breath coming into the back sides of the lungs. You're going to feel a gentle arch through the back, especially down through the lower lumbar. And then my feet are just relaxing. So remembering with yin, we hold these postures for a length of time. So otherwise, you can call it a shape. And we come into the deepest, or coming into a sensation where you can feel the deepest part of this pose. And just coming to stillness. So I'm going to stay here for 5 more breaths. Keeping that a little bit of weight into the shoulders, so I'm not taking all the weight onto the forehead. And 2 more breaths here. Good. Let's slowly look forward. You're going to slide into Sphinx Pose. So Sphinx Pose, we're bringing our elbows slightly forward. Good morning, Jill. It's so nice to see you. We're going to place our hands nice and wide. Hopefully you can see here. Fingers are nice and wide. I'm actually pressing my big toe down into the ground, spreading that baby toe out, engaging the thighs, and also engaging belly button. So not lifting right off the floor, but just pulling that belly button. Let's close our eyes. Allow the shoulders to relax. Don't sink down, but press into the shoulders. Good. Nice bend here into the back. You can also bring the elbows a little bit more forward, and this is more gentle, so you'll have a more gentle curve at the back. So close your eyes. Take some breaths. Notice the sensations in the body. See if you can bring a little bit of ease into the neck by relaxing the back neck, the neck muscles, bringing the breath awareness to this. And we're going to stay here for 5 more breaths, in through the nose, out through the nose. Coming to that nice, peaceful place. I'm going to slowly lower down, placing my forehead down onto the mat. I'm going to bring my hands on either side of my chest, widening the fingers. I'm going to tuck the back toes and slowly lift up to that tabletop. So I'm coming up to tabletop. I'm going to do a few little circles here, just playing with the spine, moving the hips back and around. Coming to the other direction. Good. And from here, let's come into our child's pose. So widening the knees, bring those sit bones back towards the hips. Lengthen the hands out, put the forehead down on the mat. Allow the elbows to relax here. And I'm going to bring the thumbs to meet, maybe even bringing the hands to meet, so palms of hands meeting here. I'm going to rock from hip to hip, just bringing a little bit of movement into those hip flexors. Rocking the forehead. Getting into the Ajna chakra, the Ajna chakra of wisdom and thoughts. And now I'm coming to stillness. I'm going to relax through the shoulder blades. Relax the belly. into prayer. And this way I can get into the triceps and biceps a little bit by bringing a little bit of weight into the elbows. Good, 5 more breaths. Two more breaths, feeling the breath broadening into the back side of the lungs. And I'm going to bring the palms down, slowly bring myself up. So just allowing myself to settle here a little bit, just allowing the knees to come together into Easy Pose or Virasana Pose. Good. From here, we will come to our hands and knees. We're going to bring our hands forward slightly. Lift those knees off the ground. So press into the pads of the hands. I'm going to lift my knees off, so I'm engaging that belly button. So you can feel this as if it's like bear pose. And then lengthening the hips behind, coming into your down dog. So notice in the morning, sometimes our down dogs can be a little bit tender, maybe our legs feel tight. So I'm going to walk out each foot. Good. From here, I'm going to look forward and I'm going to bring this right foot forward. So placing my hands on either side, I'm going to walk the foot out. Heel comes off of the mat. Heels are on the mat, toes are off. I'm going to drop that other foot back down. Good. So we're coming into lizard pose. So this hip's coming quite forward and allowing my palms to come all the way down here. Some of you may be able to come down to your elbows, but today this is gentle yin. So we want to work at a 50 to 60% level. So we're not working at 110. My motto is no pain, no pain. So again, just noticing where you feel the stretch. So you're going to feel this into the left hip. You're going to feel a little bit here into the back because this is a little baby back bend. Especially when we stay up on our hands here. Good. And just breathe. We're going to take 5 more breaths. You can even let this right knee just kind of float away from you a little bit. Some people like to come up onto the edge of the foot, but again, we're staying with a therapeutic practice. So nice and gentle. Close your eyes. 3 more breaths. Good. We're going to slowly come back to our hands and knees. So coming back to your hands and knees, we're going to scoop up here. Let yourself come into a little back bend. So you'll notice I'm on my knees here. And I'm just coming into a little arch. So I've got my hands in prayer, so palms are together. And just letting myself lean back. So if you have really bad shoulders, you can even just bring your hands to your heart and just lean back, even coming up a little bit higher and leaning back. And let's come back down to hands and knees. Good, so we're going to go through that all over again on the other side. So let's start out again. We're going to come down into our Sphinx Pose. So sliding into Sphinx Pose. Try not to flash you guys. And widen the fingers. Again, if you would like a little bit more of a gentler back bend here, let's bring our elbows forward. So then you're not coming as deeply. Close the eyes, press through the elbows. So feel the nice strength through the elbows, but see if you can try and relax the neck. So sometimes we hold tension in the neck. So lots of things to think about here. I'm pressing down through the tops of my feet. I'm spreading that baby toe away from me. To engage the thighs, I'm just engaging the kneecaps and lifting belly button up. So kissing the spine with the belly button. Good, a few more breaths here. So we're kind of workshopping some of the poses today. Deep inhale. As you exhale, lower all the way down. Just bring the elbows wide. Forehead comes down to the mat. Bring the palms on either side of the chest. You're going to tuck the toes and take a deep inhale. Come up to your hands and knees. And as you exhale, you're coming in to that downward facing dog. Again, walk out the dog, pressing through the fingertips. And just take a moment here in down dog. Notice where your head goes. So look forward, look towards your toes, and now begin to just look between where the thumbs are. See how that feels on the body. And just walk out the feet enough that you're feeling a stretch. This time we're going to bring the left foot forward. So bringing that left foot forward, lowering the right knee. So again, coming into lizard pose. This time the left foot is forward. So we don't want the foot back here. We want to draw it forward so when the knee comes over, it's not going over top of the knees, but it's just coming, over the toes, but it's just kind of lining up with the toes. Both hands come down. If you have blocks, you can definitely use your blocks here. So just take a moment to feel that nice movement through the hip. You're also going to feel a little baby back bend. So traditionally, you may not know this is a back bend. Hi Rhonda, nice to see you too. Got a few comments, a few hearts showing up. 5 breaths here, let's close our eyes. Soften through the palms, maybe even a little micro bend into the elbows. Take a moment to think about the back foot. If the toes are turning in towards the center of the mat, lengthen them out behind you. Good. And just keep breathing. Cool, let's come back. I'm going to walk this foot back. I'm going to slide myself up into that Virasana pose, placing hands on top of the femur. Press the hands down into the femur. Close your eyes here and take 3 breaths. Good. This is nice, easy, gentle yoga. From here, you're going to sweep the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Come down to child's pose. We're going to inhale to Sphinx. So just coming into a gentle low flow. Exhale, forehead comes down. Palms come down on either side of the chest. Inhale to your hands and knees. Exhale to your downward facing dog. Walk out each dog. Walk out each leg, not each dog. And just allow yourself to move here. Even move the hips from side to side. Head can move. Good. We're going to inhale, look forward, and come down to your hands and knees here. And let's come into a thread the needle. So you're going to inhale the right palm up. Exhale, scoop it underneath the body. Come down onto that right hip. Right ear comes down to the mat. So if you need a little bit of help here, leave this left elbow on the floor. Notice if you're leaning into the right hip and see if you can keep both hips even. And if you're good here, you can take this palm to face up towards the sky onto the lower sacrum. So again, you're going to notice this arch into the lower lumbar here. Very subtle, but very, very active, very beneficial for our spines. 4 more breaths. Good, I'm going to take this left hand down, pressing down through the ground, unraveling, scooping that arm up towards the sky, bringing it back down. So I'm going to reset. Left arm comes up this time, bringing it underneath, coming up for that nice shoulder stretch on the left shoulder. Left ear comes down. I'm going to keep this right arm on the floor, palms and fingers are open wide. I'm going to see if I can rock from hip to keep that even weight. So we don't want to fall over like this to the left. We want to keep very active, keeping the hips nice and level. If you're okay here and you can keep this strong foundation, you can bring the right palm up towards the sky. I'm finding I'm very kind of sinking on this side today, so I'm going to keep my palm down. This is my sore shoulder, so I want to take really special care of it. So I'm helping it out by just bringing that extra little bit of support. So if I press down through this right hand, it takes a little bit of weight off the shoulder, but still getting into the stretch. 3 more breaths. Good, I'm going to slowly unravel, pressing through that right palm, bringing that hand up towards the sky, and then bringing the hands down. Let's come back into that Virasana Pose. It's going to take a look at the time here. Been half an hour, so we've got a little bit longer together. I normally do about 45 minutes. So coming into our deepest pose of the back bends. Again, reminder, it's baby back bends today. We're not coming into really, really deep back bends. So if this is something that you typically do and you do lots of back bends, then you can come into your deepest version, or you can come from a beginner's mind and just do the gentle versions I'm doing. So from here, I'm going to turn to my side. I'm coming up to my hands and knees, and I'm going to really root down through my knees. I want to keep my hips fairly even here. I'm going to lift up through the pelvic floor, so tucking that tailbone naturally in without dropping the tailbone or pushing those hips forward. I want to keep everything nice and stable here. So just making sure the knees are underneath the hips. And I'm going to bring my hands into that self-care mudra and gently just begin to look up. So already you're going to feel that back bend. So a reminder, baby back bends, kind of like baby back ribs. And then I can slowly just begin to come a little bit deeper. So sometimes it's even nice to place the hands behind the head to kind of just cup the head so you're not overarching through the cervical spine. I'm engaging the abdominals. And I'm going to lean back a little bit further. So I'm feeling this gentle compression here. I'm feeling my thighs engage. Good. I'm going to slowly bring those hands back to my heart. And slowly lower down. Good, so just allowing the body to settle in here. hands can come down to the femur bones. Maybe give the knees a little massage here. Just to give yourself a little bit of self-care. And then the other direction. Good, one more time into the deeper back bend. So coming up, rooting down through the hips, down through the knees, feeling tops of the feet pressing into the mat. I'm going to bring those hands up to my heart again, my gentle yogi heart. And I'm going to slowly just lift this heart. So I'm lifting the heart up towards the sky. Allowing the head to come back. And just allowing myself to play with this arch without coming too far back. So lots of times you'll see yogis, we can come all the way back. But knowing that we want to work with this gently. Normally we can have blocks here too. I don't have any blocks. So I'm just playing with this today. Just keeping that belly active, lifting up through the pelvic floor, looking towards the sky. 2 more breaths here. And then slowly, I'm going to lower down to sitting in Virasana or easy pose. So you'll find that when you get into the deeper back bends, you're going to get a nice stretch also through the fronts of the thighs, into the quadriceps. Good, we're letting everything settle down. Heart openers can be, or back bends can make you feel like your heart's very open. So sometimes it doesn't feel like a very safe place to be. And sometimes a lot of fear can come into that. Let's come over onto our sitting out in Dandasana. So I'm going to take this little guy here. It's just a little neck roll. Place it underneath my legs. So just supporting my knees. Sorry if my feet are dirty. I always walk around in bare feet. I'm allowing the knees to just have a little bit of a massage here. If you have a massage ball, you can massage the knees. Go one way and in the other. We've been on our knees quite a bit with going into the last version of our back bend. I'm going to press those heels away from me now. Draw the toes towards me. Lift the arms up and coming into just a very gentle forward fold. So hinging from the hips, bringing the hands either down to the big toes or the soles of the feet. Chin can come towards the heart. You can also just place your hands down on the floor, coming into a nice, gentle, static forward fold. Let's breathe here. Once you're in that full version, you can allow those feet to relax. That's what we do in yin. And come into the deepest sensation of the pose. And then allow the body to stay here just for a few moments to breathe, to settle in. Coming into that peaceful place. I'm going to slowly rise up, bringing the hands up towards the sky as if you can clasp onto the moon or the sun. There's no sun here in Victoria today. It's very rainy. And I'm going to remove this bolster and bring my left foot into the inner right thigh. So if you have a cranky knee, you can always take your little pillow or your block and place it underneath the knee. So we're coming into half butterfly. I'm going to activate this foot so heel reaches away, toes come back towards me. We're going to bring the hands up towards the sky. Let's do a little bit of movement. So we're going to bring the left palm down and sweep over. Come over, right palm comes over. Just sweeping. So you'll notice this is a very yin, kind of like deep morning stretch. No standing poses today. Good. Inhale, arms come up. Again, we're going to hinge from the hips. So as if I come through the screen and I grab onto your hands and pull you forward. Palms come down to the mat. Let the head become heavy. I've still got this foot very active because I want to get into that hamstring. Once I'm in the deepest sensation, I'm going to relax that foot. So maybe you can place a bolster under your head. I'm going to breathe here. 3 more breaths. And then slowly come up. Okay, let's go to the other side. We're going to bring the left leg out. Right foot comes into that inner thigh. Again, if you have cranky knees, you can place it underneath. You can even use something to keep this knee nice and stable if you want a little bit more support. I'm going to extend the heel away, toes come back towards me. Good. Again, we're going to do a little bit of flow here. The little yogis, the little grandchildren, they call it seaweed flow. So we're just coming from one side to the other. And you're going to notice if you sit up on something, it's going to be a little bit easier on your hips. So nice side extension here. The last one, hands come up nice and tall. And again, hinging from the hips, so as if I'm coming through your screen and pulling your hands towards me. Yeah, maybe smiling at me. Good, palms come down. Foot should still be active. Letting my head come towards, chin comes towards the heart, crown of head is pointing away from me. And now feel this deepest sensation right through the back hamstring on the left thigh, left knee. Knee is nice and strong here. And you relax that foot. So this side I can't come as deep on, that's okay. Relax. Come to your breath. If you have a big bolster, you can even place it under your forehead on edge like so. Good. 5 more breaths here. Nice long inhales, deep, relaxed exhales. Good, and slowly come up. Just letting yourself come up to a nice, strong seat here. Let's bring the feet out in front of us. Bend the knees and do a few windshield wipers. So I'm going to lean into my hands, windshield wiper the legs back and forth. Good, let's do one more seated twist before we come down onto our backs. So just checking the time here. We will just bring the hands up again, I'm turning towards my left knee, left palm comes down, right fingertips comes to the side of the mat. So imagine you're sitting on a paddleboard out in the middle of the Shuswap Lake, looking over the lake, there's no one else there. It's nice, quiet breeze. Close our eyes here. And then you can slowly walk the fingertips behind you and bring that right temple over right shoulder. Good. 3 more deep inhales, long relaxed exhales here. towards center. We're going to inhale those arms back up again, this time turning towards the left knee. Right fingertips come down to the left knee, and the left palm comes down to the side of the mat. So again, imagining this is your paddleboard, this is the side rail. We're sitting up nice and tall. We've got a nice opening through the collarbones here. We're not sinking back or leaning too forward. Just nice and tall, rooting down through those sit bones. And slowly walking those fingertips behind, left temple over left shoulder. Relax the right shoulder. Good, come back to center. Let's change the other foot in front, because we always habitually sit with one leg in front of the other. Again, inhaling those palms up. Bring the palms down in front of you. Just walk them out, coming into another gentle forward fold. Chin towards heart. I like to keep my elbows and hands as wide as my shoulders here. Allowing myself to sink a little bit more with each breath. Good, and slowly coming all the way up. So option here now for everyone, you can take that other foot in front if you want, to stay in seated for your end of class, or you can come down into Shavasana. So for Shavasana, I was going to show you something with this. Maybe I'll do that next week. Basically, we use this as a heart opener. So you can place it underneath the shoulder blades. I'll show you quickly, and then we'll come down into Shavasana. I'm going to turn sideways. So this is a little bit deflated. This is okay for me. Sometimes people need it more deflated. I come down onto my back. My knees are still bent. And I want it to be in between the shoulder blades, so kind of like where the brow line is. And then the head comes down. So this is a really nice heart opener. You can wiggle back and forth. Maybe rock a little bit, massaging into that upper spine, the thoracic spine. And you can rest here. So this is a great one before you come into Shavasana. You could also use your bolster. I find this is really, really nice. So if you need one of these, let me know in the comments, and I can purchase one while I'm in Victoria for you. Good. So I'm going to roll off of this. And you can set yourself into Shavasana. So Shavasana, just laying on your back. Extending your feet out. I'm laying sideways just because I'm showing you a little bit differently today. I'm going to let the feet relax. I'm going to bring my right hand to belly, left hand to heart, just to come back to that place of Sankappa, of my intention. Now that I feel that that's complete for me, I fully relax. Come back to the natural breath and absorb your practice. So while you rest there, I'm going to slowly come up to seated, but please stay in Shavasana. So as you lay there, relax the forehead, relax the muscles of the neck. Notice if you're holding any tension anywhere, just bring this breath, this gentle breath in to any areas where you need ease and peace. I'm going to read a poem for you from Dana Folds. But first, let's just have like a whole minute of quiet. Just laying here, back body supporting the front body. Nothing to do but be here in this now moment. This poem is by Dana Folds. It's from the book From Root to Bloom. It's an amazing book of poems. As you stay here in Shavasana, I will read this to you and then we'll slowly come up to seated afterwards. This is called Message to Myself. To this moment as it is, give in. Allow reality to have its way, to touch and change, and burn away whatever still remains of your illusions. Now is knocking like the guest who traveled a long distance just to visit. Would you keep her waiting at the door? Let life in, the beauty and the contradictions, the curriculum perfectly designed to pull the rug out from under your favorite easy chair before reducing it to splinters. Welcome in the tempest and the calm, opening the door for truth, no matter how she finds you. So in this moment, as you give in just for a little bit longer in Shavasana, begin to awaken yourself with your breath, breathing in, cleansing breaths, long relaxed exhales. You can begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Maybe even take your hands behind your neck, doing a little bit of traction, just lifting the head and pulling away from you. So even if you're seated, you can do this as well. And then releasing the hands from behind the neck. Just moving a little bit, shoulders, fingers, toes. And slowly roll to your right side if you're laying down. Allow yourself to rest here in Fetal Pose, the pose of new beginnings. And we do this in yoga because when we lay on our right side, when we lift ourselves off of the earth, we're leading with our hearts. So meet me here in Anjali Mudra with your heart, hands at your heart center. You can drop your chin gently towards your heart, closing the distance between the heart and the mind. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. One more time, inhale. And exhale. We'll end our practice together with one single Om. Inhaling. Om. Bring your hands up to your third eye, the Ajna chakra. The divine light sees, honors, and cherishes the divine light in each and every one of you. With so much gratitude from my heart to each of your hearts. Namaste. So, namaste to everyone. Thank you for coming and doing a little bit of therapeutic, gentle yin with some baby back bends in it. I do have a webpage, which is georginakailoyoga.com. Also have a few videos on YouTube under Georgina Kailo Yoga. I would love any kind of feedback you have. If you have any questions about therapeutic yoga, I'm definitely open to hearing from you. I would love to hear how your day's going, how you guys are hanging in there with everything going on around us. Karuna, my teacher, who I love dearly, she always talks about how we can trust this practice of yoga. So being in this seat, coming back to this place on your mat where you know you can find ease and peace and find a little bit of tranquility. So trusting that practice, even with all this chaos going around us. So namaste, thank you beautiful yogis, and I will see you again soon. Bye.